Welcome into the TexAgs Rewind. I am David Nuno. We had ourselves a loaded program, and the return of Eric Cassars there at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Eric, hello, sir.
Hello. Good to be back. Thanks for having me.
Favorite part of the show today?
Favorite part of the show. I love seeing Billy wearing his Detroit Lions cap. They got a big division, or I guess wild card round win over the Rams. Matthew Stafford returned to Detroit. So big stuff there for Detroit, advancing, winning their first playoff game in 30 years? That was awesome.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And what's going on here, Nick?
Oh, he just
hello, sir. Me. Oh, hi, you're on camera. I don't know if you know we're doing the rewind. He's being awkwardly quiet there. John Harris on the program as well. He was great talking Texans, Cowboys, Dan Campbell, Recruiting Country with Bronny. Did a little early because Billy came in the studio for a full hour. Well, he was in studio for about 46 minutes, but we did a full hour with Billy. It was good times had by all. Check it out. It's the rewind. But Desmond Ricks,
huge.
Look, I don't know if this guy is a bona fide starter this year because he redshirted, but another long, talented cornerback who reclassified, by the way. He'd be a freshman this year.
Yeah, five-star guy coming in.
Love that.
Who knows, but at least, he had the and then, there's a tweet from Tariq Chappell's dad.
Had him in an Aggie uniform.
Yes,
yeah.
It looks like Tariq Chappell may be coming back, and then you add all the other DB like Jaden Hill coming in. All of a sudden, you look at that secondary and you start thinking, there's a lot to work with there. I bet you they can come up with five guys that can play well.
Well, we're going to talk about how deep that defensive backfield is and also the defensive line, because I think they didn't need a complete overhaul in the D-line, but they lost some guys, so they've added some guys. So we're going to kind of talk about those deep positions. Trey Harris.
I remember a couple of years ago, LSU went and got a linebacker from North Dakota that ended up starting for them. I talked about it before. Florida, not this year, but last year, their absolutely best offensive lineman came to Florida from Louisiana.
Yep.
And he's now starting for the Buffalo Bills.
Ja'Day Walker.
Yeah, I mean.
There's dudes out there.
Would you feel better about a high school guy that's not played any college being your depth guy, or would you feel better about a guy coming from another college program who's played well at another college,
I got it.
though a smaller one?
How cool was this past weekend considering the last 12 months?
I mean, it's really hard to put into words, honestly, David. I think I truly felt it when I came over here in 2014 and got in the building and was just kind of able to get to know the McNairs a little bit better, get to know people that were in this building a little bit better, people that have been here for from the beginning. Obviously, my friendship, my brotherhood with Mark Vandermeer has grown because we do everything on the radio, and I'm always a big NFL Films fan, and so whenever NFL Films has got something, they use Mark's calls, and I just always feel that's really cool to be kind of part of that. But the last 3 years, I mean, they were just, I don't think people understood how bad it really was in the building and how tough it really was for Mark and I. Look, I mean, we're Texans radio, right? We're supposed to keep it as positive as we can. And that was hard. We were trying to find nuggets. It's like you're eating a bag of potato chips and you're looking down, just trying to find the smallest little nugget of potato chip at the very end because, people were so hungry for this team to be successful, and then it just had so much dysfunction really brought on crazily enough by two guys. Those two people aren't here in the building anymore, but you still then, okay, you've gotten rid of the problem. But can you now get better? It's like when you get sick, you get rid of the sickness, but now you've got to recover from that. And you've got to go back in the weight room and you got to get yourself stronger. Can you do all that? And I feel like the Texans did that.
But, recruiting, there's news, right, with Des Ricks. And, man, when you look at – we talked about it on the in-home visit yesterday, Jason and I did. As we got information that this was going to go down, we decided to preemptively record an in-home visit, as we do sometimes. And just talking about the bowl game and what A&M ran out there in the defensive backfield in the bowl game. And they knew that Mike Elko knew that had to be addressed. That'd be one of his first priorities was A, roster retention, and B, player acquisitions at positions of need. Mm-hmm. And you'd have to give him now an A+ with what he did in the secondary. 8 total out of the portal, right? 5 corner-ish players and 3 safety-ish players. Now we say ish because these guys have some versatility. Sure. And Mike Elko does a lot of exotic things. You can remember when he was the defensive coordinator here, there were some, more specifically in passing downs, long down and distance scenarios where they would go 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 6 DBs. So there were those dime packages where you had 6 of them on the field at a time. And so within that, you need guys that do multiple things. And when you look at the background of a Trey Jones, who's already on campus at 6'2", 210 pounds, I saw him at move-in day, and I was like, that's a big dude, like very impressive physically on the hoof, Trey Jones. And you look at DeRicky Wright, who's 6'4", 200-something pounds. Like, what is his role? It surely won't be just purely safety.
Right.
Like, so there are guys like Jaden Hill. He's played a lot of nickel at Florida. BJ Mays can play in the nickel. Des Ricks can probably play anywhere in the secondary. So there's a lot of versatility within this group, but the main thing is they had to attack it from a talent and a depth perspective. And, oh, by the way, I still think that Bravion Rogers and Javon Thomas can be good players here.
It's TBD on his hires. I'm very excited about the early returns on a lot of them. I think that's ultimately how he should be judged, is kind of how do these ones work out. Obviously, Slosh, Chadwell,
Morrison,
Joni, Morrison,
Trisha
Ford. And think about all those I said. There's really some exciting early returns.
Yeah.
Nothing of note yet outside of Slosh and baseball and Chadwell. But a year into those 3, and you're in year 2 under Joni, it's really
trending in that direction.
It's really encouraging. So over time, we'll see. And oh, by the way, Mike Elko. People will put an asterisk on that one, though, and that's the big elephant in the room, is like how much did that play into his exit. There will be an asterisk by Mike Elko, and I think it'd be fair to say, is that a Ross Bjork hire? Right. So over time, I don't know if I'm going to go back and go, well, he did get them Elko. Like, I think that would have been Mark Stoops. And so that's part of, I think I don't know if that was I do think that was kind of the final, like, okay, probably going to go in different directions after this. Mm-hmm. And I think he knew it. I think A&M knew it. I don't know if it was specifically said to him that, hey, we don't intend to renew your deal, so you have this much, here's your runway, find a job. Or if he just, Ross knows and savvy, and I think, or did he just say, if there's an opportunity, I'm going to get it. And what a great opportunity for a job for him. That's a
heck of a job. Yeah,
it's got to be a top 5 job in college athletics, if no worse than a top 10, but probably a top 5 there in Columbus. So an incredible gig for him. But yeah, I think you were going to have this awkward time period where he knew he wasn't going to get renewed, and where A&M knew, but they were just going to kind of let it go, in my opinion, rather than fire an AD after everything that went on with.
Mr. Casares, tell the people what to do.
Like, subscribe, share, rate.
Comment.
And
look into the eyes of Nick Savage. I don't think they can see your eyes, Nick. I think you need to go a little bit to your right. There we go. Right in. There we go. We'll see you next time.